On Thursday, Mark Zuckerberg did something he had not done in 3 years. He posted on X. And the reason he broke his silence tells you everything about where AI is heading. Meta just launched a model called Muse Spark 1.1, and it is the first model in the company's history that it will not give away for free. You have to pay for it. This is the company that built its whole AI reputation on being open. So what changed? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Muse Spark is, why Meta suddenly wants your money, and the one benchmark that reveals what Meta is really betting the company on. Chapter 1. The Old Meta. To understand why this matters, you have to remember who Meta used to be. For years, Meta was the great disruptor of AI. While OpenAI and Anthropic locked their best models behind paywalls, Meta gave its llama models away, open weights, free to download, free to build on. It was a deliberate strategy. Flood the world with free Meta AI and undercut the companies charging for it. Then, in 2025, Meta spent $14.3 billion to buy a 49% stake in Scale AI. It hired Scale's founder Alexandr Wang and made him Meta's first ever chief AI officer. Wang tore up the old playbook and reorganized everything into a new group called Meta Superintelligence Labs. And the first big product of that new era does not look like the old Meta at all. It is closed, it is proprietary, and it costs money. So what exactly are you paying for? Chapter 2. What it is. Muse Spark 1.1 is a multimodal agentic model built for coding and for using tools. Let's unpack what that actually means. Agentic is the key word. This model is not designed to just answer questions in a chat box. It is built to take actions, to run tools, click through software, manage a workflow, and ship a feature across several steps without a human holding its hand. It has a 1 million token context window, which means it can hold an enormous amount of code and documents in its head at once. You can use it for free, but only in thinking mode, inside the Meta AI app and on meta.ai. The real product is the Meta Model API, which opened in public preview for developers in the United States on launch day. And that API is where the actual strategy lives because of one number, the price. Chapter 3. The Price War. Here is the pricing, and here is where Meta drops the hammer. Muse Spark 1.1 costs $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output tokens. Compare that to the flagship models from OpenAI and Anthropic, which charge several times more. Meta is not trying to have the most expensive, most premium model, it is trying to have the cheapest capable one. This is a classic land grab. Get developers hooked on a model that costs a fraction of the competition, build the workflows around it, and worry about premium pricing later. Zuckerberg reappearing on X was not a victory lap, it was a sales pitch. But a price war only works if the product can actually deliver. So can it? The benchmarks tell a very split story. Chapter 4. The Real Bet. This is the most important part, so pay attention. On pure coding, Muse Spark is not the best. On SWE-Bench Pro, a hard real-world coding test, it scores about 61.5. Claude Opus 4.8 scores 69.2. The original Muse Spark scored 52.5 on SWE-Bench, behind GPT 5.5 at 58.6. On raw code, Meta trails. But now look at tool use. On a benchmark called MCP Atlas, which measures how well a model can use tools at scale, Muse Spark scores 88.1. That beats both GPT 5.5 and Claude Opus, which sit in the high 70s to low 80s. On professional task benchmarks and tool-augmented reasoning, Muse Spark tops the table. So Meta did not build the smartest coder, it built the best tool user, and that is not an accident, that is the entire bet. Chapter 5. Can Meta sell it? Because here is what Meta is wagering. The future of AI at work is not a chatbot that writes clever code. It is an agent that can actually operate your software, file the ticket, update the spreadsheet, deploy the feature, chain 10 tools together, and get a job done. If that is the future, then being the cheapest, most reliable tool user matters far more than topping a coding leaderboard. But there is a catch for Meta too. For the first time ever, the company has to convince developers to pay for something it used to give away. Meta's whole advantage was free. Now Zuckerberg personally has to sell it. Trust, reliability, and lock-in are no longer guaranteed. And OpenAI and Anthropic are not going to sit still while Meta undercuts them. A price war cuts both ways. So let's pull it together. Meta just did three things at once. It abandoned the open source strategy that defined its AI. It charged money for a model for the very first time. And it aimed that model not at coding glory, but at agentic tool use, the messy, practical work of getting software to do things. Read together, the message is clear. Meta thinks the next phase of AI is not about the smartest model in the room. It is about the cheapest, most capable worker that can actually use your tools. That is a $14 billion bet, and Muse Spark is the opening move. Whether developers actually pay for it is the question that will define Meta's entire AI future. If this made the Muse Spark launch make sense, subscribe. We break down every big AI move minus the hype. Next up, what agentic AI actually is and why every lab is suddenly racing to build it. See you there.